Matthew Hussey here with Love Life. I was at the gym the other day and I was lifting what was, for me at least, a really heavy weight. And my trainer, he'd originally said to me that I had to get to 10 with these reps. And I was lifting this weight and I got to I think it was number 4. And it was so heavy that I was about to drop it. He could literally see me about to drop the weight. And then here's what he said. All right, get to 8. And all of a sudden, my brain did something really interesting. Instead of saying, put the weight down, my brain said, oh, we have to get to 8? Okay, maybe that's possible. Maybe I could do that. So I started lifting again. Miraculously, because I thought I had nothing left, I started lifting again. And I went 5, 6, 7, and I just about pushed out the 8th repetition. Now, here's what's really interesting to me about that. I wasn't faking it at number 4 when I thought I had to put the weight down. I thought I was realistically losing all of my steam and had nothing left to give. And yet, when the expectation was lowered a little bit to 8, all of a sudden, my psychology was, I can push through and get to number 8. Now, why is this so important in life in general? I believe that most of us have a 4-rep day when we could have had an 8-rep day because we believe we have to make it a 10-rep day. In other words, the expectation of just how much you have to do before you go to sleep tonight and processing all of that and thinking about all of that is exactly the thing that makes you short circuit early in the day and decide to give up. I know that there are days, I know like today, if I thought of everything that I have to do between now and the moment I go to sleep, if I really thought through all of those things right now, my brain, I know what it would do. It would say, you know what, let's just go back to sleep. This is too much. No one can do this. No human being can do this. I would get all dramatic about it. I'd be like, this isn't possible. Let's just go back to sleep. We really do need sleep. We didn't sleep much last night. We must escape. And I would go into escape mode instead of looking at it and saying, okay, you know what? Firstly, an 8-rep day is better than a 4-rep day, right? So if I can push this to an 8 out of 10, that's a fantastic day. Sometimes the key to getting more done in a day is to lower your expectations. Because when you lower your expectations a little bit and you push through the things you have to do, it gives you the encouragement to keep going anyway. And you may even get to 8 and decide to push out the last 2 anyway. But it's also about focusing on what's right in front of you. See, when I gave up on 4 or when I was about to give up on 4, my brain wasn't thinking about the 1 repetition right in front of me to get to number 5. It was thinking about how I couldn't fathom how I would reach number 10. So I really believe in focusing on the thing that's right in front of you, the next step, before worrying about the thing that's behind that. It's really, really important. 2 tips in there. 1, don't be afraid initially to lower your expectations to give yourself the confidence to get more done. And secondly, focus on the thing that's in front of you now. Focus on the task at hand before you try and digest the entirety of the rest of your day and everything that will make it a productive day if you get it done. If you can focus on the thing in front of you, get that done, and then focus on the next thing, you'll find that you'll trick your brain into being able to do more than trying to eat the whole day at once in one fell swoop. In one foul swoop? No, wrong metaphor. In one meal. Keep that in. Don't even edit that. Let's just leave it in. Let's not try and be perfect. All right. I'll speak to you soon, my friends. Take care. I love you all. Come join me on Facebook, by the way. Facebook.com/coach Matthew Hussey. I'll see you soon. Here's the reason why people get so hurt in early relationships. They decide that they like a guy. And having decided that they like the guy, they invest an incredible amount in getting him to like them back. In other words, they give them their heart. I decide I like you or love you, and I say, here's my heart, it's yours, it belongs to you. This is not a romantic concept. We've been led to believe that this is romantic, that I can just abdicate responsibility and take no accountability for myself, just give myself over to you and see what you do with my feelings and my emotions. I want you to understand that there are two levers in falling in love. One is attraction. Attraction is when we actually decide that we like someone, that there's something to admire about them, that there's a spark between us, and so on. Then there's the investment lever. The investment lever is how much do I invest in you? How much do I give to you? How much effort do I expend in pursuit of you or with you? That's investment. So attraction and investment, these two levers are side by side. Most people, when they feel a little bit of attraction, they yank down the investment lever. They say, oh my God, I'm attracted to someone. Even a little bit, I'm going to start trying as hard as I can to get them to like me. This is bad because when you yank down the investment lever and they don't come with you, their attraction for you goes down. What we have to realize is the attraction lever is much more volatile. We don't have full control over who we're attracted to. That's part of the problem. Sometimes we're attracted to the wrong people. But we do have control over the investment lever. How much do I give to you? How much effort do I put in? I have full control over that. And just because I get attracted to you, it doesn't mean I should invest in you. There is a difference. We have to be steady hand with the investment lever. Even if the attraction lever is really volatile, we have to be really steady hand with this. Oh, I'm attracted to you? Okay, let me invest a little. Do you invest back? Oh, you did? Okay, let me invest a little bit more. Because investing full on never made anybody like us. If anything, it just scares people away or it shows them that they can use us and treat us badly. Some people invest all of their time. Other people invest their bodies and they're intimate in ways that they really only want to be with someone that they're really partners with, but they're doing it with this person because they really like them. Introducing this person to their family or their friends, or by missing work for them, or by helping that person with a project that they can help with. They try in all of these ways to invest because they think that that's what will make the difference. The thing that really gets people attracted is when they realize that in order to get our investment, they have to invest too. It's for that reason, by the way, that I hate the metaphor of giving our heart to somebody, because I really believe that our heart isn't a possession. Our heart is a place. It's a place that someone can visit. Depending on how much they've invested, they can access some parts of it and not others. And if they want to access more of our heart, more of this wonderful place, then they have to invest more. Some people, they invest enough to become a permanent resident of that heart, of that place. When we like someone, stopping ourselves from investing can be very, very difficult, but it doesn't have to be complex. There are right moments to invest and right moments to pull back. Knowing the difference is what will absolutely control someone's attraction for you, how much they want you, and how much they see you as genuine relationship potential. Now, if you want to learn more about this, I actually have a program called Keep the Guy that shows you from the moment of meeting someone to having a relationship, even up to marriage, at what points you should be investing more and at what moments you should be responding by investing less. Both can build attraction equally and determine the future of your relationship with somebody. So I'd love you to check this out. It's called Keep the Guy. You can go to keeptheguy.com to find out more about it. We'll link it up here. As always, I will see you in next week's video. Thanks, guys. I thought today we'd get back to basics. In our love lives, we still suffer, so many of us, from not actually having options. And the reason we don't have options is because we go out all of the time and we don't actually meet people. I think the reason we don't meet people is because we're waiting for the perfect thing to say. We sit there, we look at someone we want to talk to, and we try and think of this ideal way to go and approach them, to go and talk to them. And then we psych ourselves out. Think about it this way. Everyone is trying to feel like they fit in somehow. We're all a little nervous about being vulnerable, about someone coming over and making a fool of us or us being embarrassed. So instead of allowing themselves to be open and warm, people go out and they have this kind of mean demeanor, which is what happens when we go out at night and we see all these people that look kind of threatening or intimidating. So often that's a cover-up. And I like to think if we put on these emotional X-ray vision goggles, we would actually be able to see what everyone in the room is really feeling, which is, I'd quite like someone to come and talk to me, or I wish I knew more people in this room, or I wish I had the confidence to go up to that person over there. I like to go out wearing those emotional X-ray vision goggles because it allows me to see through the front of other people and allows me to feel less threatened by other people when I'm thinking about going and socializing with them. And of course, if I can go and socialize more, I'm going to create more options. So that's a little psychological twist we can put on it. The second is a practical tip, which I know many of you have heard from me before, but I think we need to hear this at least once a week. Instead of thinking of the perfect thing to say, think about actually just going out there and saying the obvious thing. Whether it's hi, how are you, how's your evening going, or if it's in the daytime, fine, how's your day going? Whatever it is, find something really obvious to say, because if the choice is between saying something obvious and saying nothing, we have to say the obvious thing every single time, because at least the obvious thing can lead to something. But saying nothing is a fool's hope. Then we're simply waiting on someone else to do something, and we all know how that goes. Most of us spend 24 hours a day waiting for things to happen to us and then complaining that we never have any real options in our love lives. So, two things. Put on those emotional X-ray vision goggles, see through the fronts that people have when they're kind of mean and intimidating, and know that we all feel a little vulnerable when we go out socially. And secondly, use that psychology to say to yourself, I just need to go out there and socially do the obvious thing, and the obvious thing very often leads to something more clever. You have to start by saying the obvious things, because it's when you say the obvious things that you come up with better things along the way. Before you go, next week I'm going to take this video a step further. So I want to actually make this open-ended, because I know one of the big reasons people don't get results or they don't have options is because they don't meet people in the first place. The second reason they don't get results is when they do meet people and they have these fun, flirtatious interactions, they don't close the deal by actually exchanging details with someone. So next week is all going to be about how to exchange details with someone, even if you only met them for 60 seconds. And by the way, I'm on tour right now. I'm in Chicago. We just did an event, really exciting, the tour so far. I know so many of you have been to see me already. If you are in one of these cities I'm about to mention and you don't have tickets yet, now is your chance. I am still going to Dallas, Washington, DC, and Los Angeles. So get your tickets now. We'll link up at the end of this video and underneath in the description. I can't wait to see you in person, give you a giant hug, and hopefully hear a little bit about your story. I'll see you soon.
This is the best thing that anyone can ever do. Like, it's incredible. And you make 200 friends who all are just incredible. It's like, I can't say enough that this love guy on YouTube, that's, fuck that shit. This is like a magic solution. It's nuts. I got divorced and I went to the bookstore and I bought every single book on mental health issues. No, on just like how to like sort your life out. And most of it was pretty heavy reading. And then Matthew's book was the lightest one out of all of them, but it made me, in a very short space of time, realise that I was going to be okay. And then when that email came and said, you can speak to one of the trainers, I just thought, okay, well, I'll just have a chat. And Emma was amazing, absolutely amazing. I have a lot to thank Emma for. And it made me realise as well that, like, your friends around you, obviously you love your friends very much and your friends kind of try to give you good advice. But I realised that actually, when you're in a bad place, people kind of like to keep you there, not out of malice, but I wasn't in a great place, and my friends would just kind of say to me, it's okay, you're healing, just take your time. But that's like 5 years of taking my time. Like, no one said, Soraya, listen, pick yourself up, wash, go out, brush your teeth, go and find a hobby, go and walk, go and sit in a cafe, go and talk to somebody, just nobody kind of said that. They were like, it's okay, it's, just sit there, be depressed, you're healing. So then it kind of makes you feel like, okay, yeah, it's okay that I'm just healing. And then Emma was just like, no, it's not okay. What the hell are you doing with your time? You're wasting your time. So yeah, I really needed to hear that. It gave me a massive kick.
You know what? You did something for yourselves that most people never will. Most people will never put this amount of energy into themselves. They're so busy worrying about what they're supposed to be doing, what everyone else expects them to do. But what's so important is we take time to actually assess, what do we want? What do we want to do? Where do we want to go? Most people will never give themselves the gift that you've given yourself this week.
I was here for that one, like how to, do my career, how to expand, my, job and, how to kind of, date, those things. I wasn't here for that thing. But that thing came up and it absolutely floored me because that's like next level.
I have to be the type of person that goes out there and keeps going for this because fuck, I'm only here once. I got to go and do this. I got to be the kind of person who goes and does this, who goes after what I want, who goes and flirts and talks to people and builds relationships, because I don't want to be one of those people, regardless of whether it works out. I can't be one of those people who at 90 years old, the badge of honor I wear is that I didn't get rejected as much as other people. That can't be my badge of honor in my old age, is that I didn't get my heart broken much.
I've pushed love away an awful lot in my life. When nice guys have liked me, I've thought that they should be with a nice girl. And I've gravitated towards guys that aren't particularly savoury because I feel like that's more I'm more deserving of them, or I don't know, they'll be able to cope. Not that I would ever tell them the truth, but somehow like if they've had a bit of a tarnished past or whatever, that somehow we're a better fit than me being with, like, I don't know whether a nice guy is, but someone who hasn't had any thing like that in their life. And they've been very, very, very loving, very, very kind, very nice guys who have wanted to show me love, and I've like pushed it away to a really quite strong extent.
If there's something that has haunted me for a long time, if there's something I've held on to, if there's something I've allowed to become suffering when it need have only been pain. The pain's inevitable, right? You heard that quote, pain is inevitable, suffering is a choice. Pain is inevitable, suffering is a choice. If there's something that's been done to me in the past, if there's something I've been through that I know I've allowed to haunt me, I've allowed to create suffering for me, I've allowed someone to reside in my mind for far too long. And I should have let that person go a long time ago. Not because it was nothing, not because I necessarily even have to forgive that person, but because they're living in here rent-free.
There is no part of me now that kind of looks back on anything that happened in my past with any sense of sorrow whatsoever. None. It's like, yeah, it happened. It's like watching I can say it with no attachment. Yeah, that happened. So fucking what? Like, so what? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't hurt now. It's like, I don't even. And I look like I've been electrocuted today. I don't care.
Welcome to Love Life, everybody. My name is Matthew Hussey, and we have another beautiful, wonderful, sexy caller on the line today. Are you there?
Hi, Matthew. Hi, I'm here. there.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Ellie. How are you?
Ellie. I'm great, thank you. I'm great. How are you getting on today?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm so excited to talk with you.
I know. This is fantastic. I'm excited too. Do you have an exciting question for us?
Oh, yeah, I have I guess it's exciting or devastating. I don't know.
It's exciting if you solve it.
Yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
I need professional help at this point.
I will do my best.
Okay, cool. So this whole year I've been basically seeming to only attract like completely geographically unavailable men. Like every guy I've met this year has been like in from out of town, in on work, like totally in and out. And most guys I've been able to like toss out with next week trash, like, okay, whatever, you're like, I can forget about you. And then last weekend I met this guy down in San Diego over the long weekend. And we had like a great time, and we spent like 2 days together, and it was time for me to come back to LA, and he was leaving back to London where he lives. And I've been like a mess. Like I am like so head over heels for this guy, like can't stop thinking about him, like dreaming about him all the time and like losing it.
So, what's your question?
Okay, so I guess my question is it possible, and if so, how do you keep somebody interested from over 5,000 miles away, halfway across the world, who you really have only known for 48 hours, but like just have this feeling? Like I just like, I mean, I felt like the room froze. I felt like my body froze. Like when I saw this guy, I was just like the world stopped. And that never happens like to me ever. And so I don't know. I want to keep him around, and I need help. And I'm like, like, how do you go about this? Like, we've been talking every day since we met and since he got back, and I need help.
What is he doing? Does he travel a lot as part of his job, or is he pretty fixed in London?
No, he's like set in London. He's like an electrical engineer there, and he was only here on like a 10-day holiday with friends, and we like just met out like downtown San Diego.
Okay, so it's not like he hasn't got more reasons to come to the States, and he has a career path there in London.
No, not for work, no.
Okay, do you have any desire to move to London?
I mean, I'm such a California girl. Like, I think I would freeze, but I would definitely like want to go there. I mean, I don't think I would move to London, but like, I don't know. I want to be close to him.
So the reason I'm asking such extreme questions, which, and I know that as you hear them, you'll probably think it's a huge thing for me to ask these things, but I like to start these kinds of relationships with some really sobering questions about when I look at it, what's the reality of the two, even if the two of us both want the same thing, what's the reality of us both doing this together in the same place? And what you're telling me makes that sound very difficult right off the bat. So that concerns me. Now, that's not to say that, maybe the two of you have very intense feelings for each other, but that part concerns me greatly, because sometimes we meet someone and we hit it off and we find them amazing, and we are setting ourselves up for a world of pain. And what might be painful now to let go of will be far more painful to let go of 6 months from now or a year from now. So, and I say that, trust me, I say that from experience. I have dated people on the other side of the world for 2-year stints where, at the end of it, when we finally realized, wow, we're not going to be doing this together for forever. It was very, very painful, and I, no regrets, but I could have saved myself an awful lot of pain had I decided to let somebody go a lot sooner. So I think that's just something to put on your radar. It doesn't mean it's going to change anything you do, right? I know women better than to think that a little bit of logic here or there is suddenly going to change everything. But I'm just putting that out there as some caution. Now, the other cautionary note I want to add, and I'm not coming to you as the pessimist, but I just want to make sure that I'm I'm playing devil's advocate for you. And then you can afterwards tell me if you think I'm wrong about everything. The danger when we meet someone for, say, a weekend, and especially when they're traveling from out of town and then they leave, is that there is the tendency for us to really glorify and romanticize the time that we have had with them. Now, it doesn't mean it wasn't special. I'm not saying it wasn't special, and I'm not saying that you two don't have a great connection. But what might seem like a wonderful, special, great connection if someone was, say, your next door neighbor, is different from what appears to be a wonderful, glorious, romantic connection when someone is going halfway across the world. There is something always more romantic about the fact that someone is leaving and we now can't get to them. And that does have, human beings do have this natural tendency when someone gets out of reach to really fantasize and create this this kind of drama from it. So that's something to keep an eye on. Don't glorify it or make it better than it is simply because that person has gone halfway across the world. Because I did, when you were mentioning that in the last year, I think you said the last year, you had just met so many people who were traveling and leaving town, and that seemed to be the only types of people you were meeting. I have to be the skeptic when you say that, because my question would be, does what you feel what you feel with this guy, is it truly something that cannot be found where you are with someone who is in a situation to be able to actually move that relationship forward? Now, if this guy on the other end of Skype is talking to you right now and saying, we have to find a way, we have to find a way, we have to make this work, then that's something, because at least then the two of you are in the same place, you're both saying the same thing, and you're both saying, how do we figure this out? I almost feel it. I can give you ways to keep this guy interested, and I'll throw out a couple, but it's I feel like it's borderline irresponsible for me to do that, because what I'm worried about is you keeping someone interested that is going to stay attracted to you and therefore keep talking to you because there's a massive attraction, but doesn't have the intention of actually moving it forward with you. And there's a big difference between those two things. There's a big difference between massive attraction and massive intention. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it really does.
So in terms of keeping someone interested, the key is that when they're long distance, there quickly is a monotony that's developed. You end up having very similar conversations each day. Very often, if we have set working schedules, we end up talking at the same time each day. Yeah. And the things that tend to create the most problems under the surface are the fact that we can't touch and kiss and hug, and we can't be intimate. Those things they create the biggest pressure, because they become the elephant in the room. Two people are away from each other. They both have needs. They both want this to happen, but they're not getting their needs met all the way. So there's a couple of keys here. One is you need to stay interesting through the things you talk about, because you don't have, sometimes when someone is with us and they're not that interesting, we can still think they're interesting if they're a good kisser. You know what I mean? Like, if they're a good kisser and they give us a good hug and, we like touching them, they can be interesting just by being there. But when we don't have those crutches, we really do have to be interesting in the things that we say. Yeah. So then it's really important to talk about the things that are going on in your life and the exciting things that you're up to in your week, to be interested, because a big part of being interesting is being interested. So really being interested in what's going on in his life. He's gonna want to talk to you each night if he feels like you're actually invested in what he's up to and what he's doing in his life. There's nothing quite like going home from work and talking to someone who gets us. And if you get him and you understand his life more, and you you get to know things in his life so you can ask him those personal questions, he's going to really look forward to talking to you, because you won't just be a focus of attraction. You'll be a focus of connection. You'll be a real friend, which is really important. So that's one thing. But the other thing, of course, is the opposite side of that, which is if you're not careful, you end up becoming more and more friends, and you lose the desire because you don't have the physical touch to generate desire. So in that sense, it's really important that your interactions are peppered with moments that you stress how much you want him, that stress how much you need him in the physical sense, that have little moments of cheekiness and playfulness and naughtiness. And, I'm always, I always have to add a big note of caution here in terms of Skype sex and things like that, because we live in a world where people are, in the habit of recording things and all sorts of things like that. So I always think I always feel like I need to add a cautionary note to say, be careful. But some form of sexuality, whether it's actually having Skype sex or whether it's simply, looking pretty when you jump on Skype with him and telling him that he looks gorgeous and that you wish you could grab him right now. And, those little moments where you experience sexuality with him, it's so important that you continue to experience those, because at least then, even though he can't do the things with you that he may want, he's experiencing, his ego as a man is still being, expressed, and he feels important, and he feels like you still see him as a sexual being. There's nothing worse than having a sexual connection with someone. And by sexual connection, I'm not saying you guys have had sex or you have or you haven't, but what I'm saying is when we have that real sexual attraction with someone and then we get long distance and all of a sudden the sexuality leaves the situation, that's when things start to go downhill. So you've got to increase connection with him, but you've also got to increase desire with him. Connection is going to be increased by getting him more involved in the things that are going on in your life, but also showing him that you get his life on a level that other people don't. And desire is going to be stoked by making sure that he still feels attractive and he still feels sexy, even though you guys are apart.
It's so crazy to me that there's like this allure to like unavailable men in this way, when it just makes everything this much more difficult to balance. Like, everything you've told me makes so much sense, but it just seems like the juggling act of executing those, and not too much and not too little, and like, is so hard. And so it makes me question like why we are so into unavailable men.
Well, I think there are a number of reasons for that. There's a whole other interesting subject. I mean, I think partly it's to do with we have a kind of scarcity complex sometimes in our lives where we don't think there's enough of something. And so when we find it, even if it's in the wrong form or the wrong person or the wrong situation, we convince ourselves that there isn't anyone else out there that could have that. You may have unknowingly convinced yourself that this great connection you felt with this guy is not available to you anywhere else, which of course it is. And if you were to hold out and say, what you could do is say in a very empowering way, this has been a great thing because this has reminded me that it's possible for me to have this kind of a connection with someone. Yeah. Now I just need to go and find it with someone who's actually in a situation that can take it forward. But how wonderful that I've had this little reminder in life that this kind of connection is available. So you could actually take that frame of reference. But I think we do it because of a scarcity complex of not thinking there's enough. I think we also do it because our brains immediately, when someone is leaving or when something is leaving us, it's the toy we can't play with anymore. And when we can have a toy in our bedroom our whole lives, and then someone takes it away and we go, no, I want it, but we haven't been playing with it. So it's like whenever something becomes more attractive because it's not there, we must always suspect our motives and be skeptical of them. And that's why I started my advice with that, because I really want you to I don't want you to become a cynic, but I do want you to suspect your motives in this situation. And even if it's as beautiful as you say it is, which it may well be, I still believe you can find it again in someone that is in a suitable situation in life for you. Yes, absolutely, in your zip code. But look, that's an empowering thought. The fact that, some people look at that and they're like, oh my God, woe is me. I found this amazing guy and he's leaving. Other people look at it and they're like, thank God this exists. Like, this would be far worse if this never happened. It would be so much worse. The fact that it happened means it can happen again, and it can happen in a much more suitable way next time.
Yeah. Thank you. I know, it was like that electrifying feeling that, like, I swear I just have not had in so long, and it's like so enlivening. And so, like, even if, I guess in the long run, like, that's what I take from him, then that's
I would. And if some bonus happens where he shows up on your doorstep and says, guess what, I'm here now, then you can deal with that situation. But right now, I would take the what I think is the real lesson from this, which is what an incredible thing that this can happen in life, and you've been reminded of that now. And there are so many women out there who don't even think that exists anymore because they haven't felt it in so long. You're one of the lucky ones because you have felt it and you know it exists, and that belief system that it exists can be the thing that carries you forward now to find it in someone more suitable.
Yeah, without so much luggage.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Well, thank you for calling in, Ellie. It's been a real pleasure, and I feel like we've done not just you a favor. I think by talking about this openly, so many people will have been helped by this. So I really do appreciate you bringing these things to light.
Totally. And you, like, sound just like him, so that's also kind of charming.
See, look, I'm already proving that we're not that rare.
He's not the only one.
Exactly. Look how common we are. Gosh, we're so common.
Everywhere.
Exactly. God, we're so easy to come by. Go find another one. All right, lovely. Take care of yourself, all right?
Okay, you as well. Thank you.
All right. All right, you too. Bye-bye. And by the way, guys, call in if you have a question that you want answered here on Love Life. The number is 844-204-6288. That's 844-204-MAT with 2 T's. And make sure to come join me on Facebook. If you haven't already followed me on Facebook, come like the page. It's facebook.com/Coach Matthew Hussey. I'll see you soon. This is one of the most painful experiences you can go through in your love life. So leave me a comment if this has happened to you. I am Matthew Hussey. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel for everyone who is new. I am the author of the New York Times best-selling new book, Love Life. And for the last 17 years, I've been doing what it says on this book, helping people to raise their standards, find their person, and live happily no matter what. So let's talk about this phenomenon. They changed, they just didn't change for us. And I want to talk about it using a question that came to me from one of my Love Life members in one of our live sessions. So I'll read this question and then we will get into the answer in 3 parts. By the way, if you're enjoying me answering these Love Life member questions in these videos, but you want to go a step further and get coached by me yourself, the Love Life Club is where I do that. As part of Love Life, you essentially make me your coach in your love life for the next year. We have masterclasses, live Q&As, meetups, an entire suite of incredible resources that are designed to holistically help you make the progress you're seeking this year in your love life. So go to lovelifeclub.com if you'd like to learn more, and I hope you become a part of the community with us. Okay, so this question. This is from Suzanne, who says, what do I do when I have always told myself that this man won't change and that I have to accept that he doesn't want to commit? But after he ended contact with me, he did change. He got into a relationship even though he always said he didn't want one anymore. And on top of that, he had a baby with his new girlfriend just a few months ago. I find it very hard not to think that he could change, just not with me.
I would be very happy to get some ideas on how to deal with this. So this is the hard part, isn't it? Those horrible thoughts of, I could have said something different, it turns out. Maybe I could have done something different. What did they say and do that I failed to say and do? Or what do they have that I don't? These issues cut to the core of our self-worth. They make us doubt our fundamental value, and they can erode our self-esteem going into the next relationship we find. So there are 3 things I want to say about this today. The first is we have to be very careful of not assuming that the change is real. It's very easy from a distance to watch someone in what seems like them flourishing in a new relationship. Often the only information we have from that is what friends tell us or mutual contacts or what we see them posting online. And we get that snapshot and it triggers us in all of the worst ways. But that snapshot, that little piece of gossip that we heard, or that picture that we just saw of them with their new partner on Instagram, is not a true reflection of their relationship. Remind yourself, you know no more about their relationship than anyone else did about yours the week before you broke up. No one knows what's going on behind the curtain of a relationship. So don't assume that change just came easily to this person. What we may be seeing is a superficial form of progress. We might be seeing someone racing ahead, but it's likely that their fundamental nature hasn't changed. The things that bothered us haven't necessarily changed. It's likely that they carried those into the next relationship, and that whatever deeper work they need to do is still very much a work in progress. The way I think about this is don't measure too quickly. And in a sense, we shouldn't be measuring at all because it's not our life anymore. You have to look at it like this. Their story is no more relevant to yours now than the story of a random barista in a coffee shop in a town that you'll never visit. But what if what they've now found is great? What if they do stand the test of time? Let's be very clear. We don't want to sit around wasting our lives hoping that someone else's relationship fails because they hurt us. That would be a tremendous waste of our life. And it would be a really internally toxic mindset to have towards somebody else. So what if they succeed? What if that relationship they found actually turns out to be a lifelong relationship that works? That's what brings me on to point number 2. If the change they've made was real, and if the relationship does last, then don't sweat it, because they weren't your audience. This person wasn't for you. They were for someone else. Your audience is still out there. Instead of getting caught up in, but that must mean someone's better than me, recognize it's not about who's better. It's about who your voice lands with. I think about that all the time when I make YouTube videos. Someone might pass by my video, they might watch it for 5 minutes and go, not for me. And they might find another coach, another speaker who they really resonate with. Does that make that person better than me? Not necessarily. It might just be that there's something about that other person's voice that really lands with that person for reasons I may never know and probably won't. And that's okay. My job is to refine my voice, to lean into my strengths and make what I do as good as it can possibly be and as true to me as it can possibly be. Because if I do that, what people will experience when they watch my videos is an essence that can't just be replaced by someone else. So when they go and experience a different video, that video might be more right for them. It might land better on their ear. They might resonate more with that person, that personality, or the things they're saying. But the audience that remains, the audience that does stick on my content, they're the ones who get it. They're the ones who resonate with me. And that's my audience. Those are my people. That's the thing to focus on. Be the youest you. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing or thinking that they're better than you. Realize that your job is to find your audience. And the best way to do that is to lean into all of your own strengths. Now, what if you're listening to this and you can't shake the thought that all of this sounds nice, but in reality, it's not just that in this particular case, someone didn't change for you, but they did change for somebody else because they found something that for whatever reason that's not personal to me was more right for them, and I am still going to go on to find my audience. What if, when you look back through your life, you feel like this is always true for you? What if you feel like every time you're the person before the person that they change for? You know, I hear that sometimes. I'm always the person before the person they marry. What do you do when you feel like the story of your life is that people don't change for you, they change for other people? Well, that's when we come on to point number 3. Is there something we are doing in our love lives, a way that we're showing up with other people, that is distracting them from our intrinsic value? What do I mean by this? I believe that we all have this incredible value, and that value wants to emerge. And one of our big jobs is to get out of the way so that other people can experience how amazing we are. They can feel that value. But we all, at some point or another, have had some kind of behavior that has distracted people from our true value. It's made us frustrating to be around. It's made us abrasive. It's made us difficult to have a relationship with. It's got in the way of the kind of connection we create on our best day. And I think it's worth exploring for all of us what that thing is, because that thing can consistently get in the way of us finding love, if we're not careful, for our entire lives. And a lot of people walk around completely unconscious when it comes to whatever that fatal flaw is. They never explore it, and that's understandable. It's kind of terrifying to explore it. What could I be doing that is contributing to why consistently in my life people are not choosing me? It's an extremely brave question to ask, and I commend anybody who is able to ask this question. I just did a getaway with the smallest group of people that I work with, my Club 320 program. And one of the people in the room asked me a question. She said, "Matthew, you've been working with me for the last 8 months. What do you see as my biggest weakness?" And I thought, my God, is that a brave question to ask that and truly sit and be present with the answer. And I said to her at the time, I said, "Do you really want me to be honest?" And she said, "Yes." And I was so bowled over by how she sat there absorbing what I was saying, which, by the way, doesn't mean I'm right. I might not be totally right. I might be wrong. She might choose to disregard what I'm saying, but she listened. And that is so powerful. And one of the things that I'd love to encourage all of us to do is to be inspired by that, because I was, and to say, who do I trust that I could ask for some genuine feedback so that I could learn what behavior, what thing I'm doing, what way that I'm showing up is distracting people from my value. Value that is already there, by the way. Who could you go to and ask that question? Who could you ask, "Hey, I know you care about me. The most caring thing you can do for me right now is answer this question honestly. Is there a way you see me showing up that you think could be hurting me in my love life, or the way that people are with me, or whether they choose me?" And say to them, I want you to be really brave in the way that you answer me, because I know you may want to sugarcoat it, or you may just want to tell me what I want to hear. You may think I'm going to get mad at you if you're really honest, but I actually want you to be really honest. And you don't just have to ask this of one person. You could ask this of 3 people really close to you, or people who really know you. They don't have to be super close, but they have to be close enough to know you, your habits, your behaviors, and certainly the way you show up with people romantically. When they speak, listen to what they say. Really be brave in taking in what they say, and look at whether there's a pattern in the things they're saying, because that pattern might be the information that you need to address that fatal flaw. And when we discover it, rather than thinking, oh my God, this is awful, I have something that is holding me back, I have something I'm doing that's screwing everything up, we can actually say, you know what, this is really positive. I'm learning something that can actually make a difference. I'm being conscious now about the thing that's been getting in my way, that's been distracting people from how great I really am. And by the way, you're not alone in this, because this is a question in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be asking of a small group of people that I trust in my life. What do you think is the biggest weakness that holds me back? And I'm not going to like the answers, I'm sure, but they're going to be so valuable to me, and they are the key to me becoming an even better version of myself a year from now than I am today. I guarantee none of the things I hear will be easy for me to work on. They'll probably be hard, because when we get these things pointed out, what you'll realize is, oh, this is deep stuff for me. This is not easy to change, but that's okay. We can start doing the work of giving focus to those areas. And if you've got this far in the video, I commend you, because this is not some frivolous video on, they changed for someone else, not for you. Well, screw them. They were the wrong person for you. You deserve better. This isn't that video. If you've made it this far, then you really value real progress and the things that could really help you in your love life. Remember, don't assume that the changes they've made are real, that the relationship will last, or that it's everything you think it is behind the scenes. If it does last and it is real, then you know for sure that the person wasn't right for you because you weren't their audience. But guess what? If you lean into your own voice, you will find your audience, and that will be the relationship that sticks for you. And lastly, never be afraid to explore the things that could be holding you back. If you do that, you'll become so powerful, because it's what 99% of people are never brave enough to do. But we are. What this video is about at its essence is being the hero of your own story. As long as we're focused on an ex, or on the person that our ex is now dating, we're making someone else the hero of our story. To quote the old man in the movie The Holiday, we are making somebody else the leading role in a movie that is about us. So I want to put the focus back on us. No one can stop us from having an amazing life. No one can stop us from experiencing amazing love, because it's all up to us. We can be the ones who go out there and create more opportunities, who create so many opportunities and so many wonderful things in our lives that we never look back on that thing that we one day thought we could never lose. We'll realize we could lose it, because we are the authors of our own happiness. And for those of you who are joining me in a couple of weeks in Florida on my retreat, I can't wait to walk you through 6 days of everything I know about how to do this. And for anyone who still wants to join, there is still time, but we are right there now at the finish line. So if you want to get on board before it's too late, go to mhretreat.com. I hope to see you there. I really, really do. And I look forward to seeing you, all of you, in next week's video. Be well. And
ways that I've thought about that really indicate someone is poisonous for your life. The first one, in an argument, they look to inflict damage, not solve problems. I always think about it like scorpion mode. You get near a scorpion, it gets afraid and it stings you. And you'll also find, by the way, that when you're doing something that makes them feel insecure, let's say you're going out in the evening and it's something that maybe they're not invited to. Maybe this is just something you're going to on your own. If they're feeling insecure about it, they won't come to you with that vulnerability. Instead, they'll make it a fight and then go to one-upmanship or revenge. So now they'll go out, but it will be about one-upping you, doing something that will make you even more jealous than they feel right now. Again, it's about inflicting damage, not about solving problems. Number two, they treat everything like it's an attack. You may come to them in a completely civil and rational way and choose your words very carefully and say, listen, I just wanted to talk to you about that thing this week. You'll find that they will meet that with aggression. By the way, one of the common side effects of this, and you may have seen this for yourself, is you'll find yourself now afraid to bring up problems with them. You sit there agonizing over what words to use,
and treading on eggshells as you say something, if you're doing that to the extreme, it means that you don't have a healthy relationship with constructive criticism in your relationship. 3, they make you the root of all evil. So now, instead of admitting that something is actually their fault, that they need to change something, they'll make you the problem. They'll convince you that the problem is coming from you. And this is one of the really insidious parts. They can make you believe that things are your fault that have nothing to do with you. Number 4, they'll show you the most love when you're hurt. One of the common patterns in toxic relationships is that toxic person they'll accuse you of things, they'll cut you, they'll hurt you. And when you're on your knees, crying, begging, when in that moment where you're at your lowest ebb and they realize that they've been able to break you, then they'll switch. Then they'll show you love. And here's why. Because at that point, they feel like it's safe to do so. Because in the moments where you're feeling strong, they're feeling weak. Which brings me on to point number 5. They get uncomfortable with your success. You'll find that a toxic person will belittle your ambitions, will make you feel unworthy, even when you're doing well. When you do well and you have an achievement, they won't celebrate it with you and get excited with you. They'll brush it off, they'll change the subject relatively quickly, or they'll find a problem with it. You come home saying you got a promotion and they'll say, well, won't that now be a lot more work? So this video isn't about coming from a high and mighty place and us looking at toxic people and saying there's something wrong with you. Oh, I realized you're the problem, not me. It's not that we're perfect and they're not. We're not perfect. And that's the whole point. You need to come to a relationship to meet a team player who is also imperfect, and you can help heal each other. You can't heal each other, of course. That's something only we ourselves can do. But we can provide an environment for our partner where it's possible for them to heal, where it's possible for them to become strong, to become great. Mark Twain said that the really great make you feel that you too can become great. It's true that one of the things that's going to make us more interesting is just doing more stuff. Being out, reading a book, going to places, becoming a more rounded person. There is something that came up. Me and Jameson are here right now in a hotel room. Sounded weird already. Let me explain. So we rented out a hotel suite to do an interview for our Impact program. Those of you that are on the Impact program, you know that as part of the program, you also got one interview a month with what I consider to be a master of impact, someone who does a particular part of impact really well. Well, one of the interviews that we have for our Masters of Impact series, can we say who it is, Jameson, or do you think we should keep that secret? Should we say who it is? I think we say it. I tell you what, I'm going to say it, but then if you change your mind and want to bleep it out, you bleep it out, okay? So we had this amazing interview just now, and she said this really interesting thing, which I'm going to give you, complimentary. She was talking about this idea of going out more, and she said there's a line that my mum used to say to me that's always stuck with me. Because I said, how do you get yourself to go? You know, when you're feeling lazy or when you're feeling like, oh, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to go to this? There's a line that her mum used to say to her. She said, you can always go home. You can always go home. And her mum said this to her even when she was moving from London to LA. She said, because she was terrified and I've got to go and be in LA, all these new people, should I really go? Her mum said, you can always go home. That one line is like a pressure valve for your social life. And we need it because especially if we're not used to going out a lot, and we have to will ourselves to do it. If you know you're the type of person that says no to a lot of invites to people, by the way, this is a video that will change your life if it gets you to go out more. We all know that going out more is the key to meeting more people, having a more diverse social life, meeting different types of people, becoming a more rounded person, and I might add, having more to talk about because you know you have experiences recently which give you conversational fodder. But the key to this is this mindset. You can always go home. That mindset, ironically, even though it sounds like that's the thing that's letting you off the hook, that is the actual phrase that will get you to go in the first place. I know when I was little, I never used to like going to friends' houses because I hated the fact that, it's not like I could drive, I didn't have a car. I hated the fact that I would be stuck there for the evening and I wouldn't be able to get home. Or that I'd wake up and I'd have to wait for a ride back to my house and I wouldn't be able to leave. With a trip I did at the beginning of this year, I had this same mindset. It was like a 1.5 week trip going on 2 weeks. And I thought to myself, I don't know if I could do that for 2 weeks. I could be on this trip. And I said to myself, you can always go home. I had that teenage mindset, or that young mindset that I had back then that kicked in as a reflex response. And then I realized, oh no, wait, I have money now. I can get on a plane and fly home. So that's exactly what I told myself. Of course I didn't. Once I got there, I was having an amazing time. I stayed right till the end. But that idea that we can go home is an important pressure valve in getting you to go out in the first place. We're keeping it simple here today. Nothing crazy, just that line. The next time you're going out on a weeknight, on a weekend, and you're like, do I really want to go? Just repeat that to yourself. I can always go home. We're not going off into another planet where I can't get back. I can get in a car or on a train and come home. It's going to be fine. As the iconic, great Justin Bieber once said, you can go hard or you can go home. Why not go hard and go home? Wait, I can't do that. I can't get that one shot. There is one day of the year where I think we get more done than any other day of the year. More achievement, more productivity, more efficiency. It's a day where we take care of business. That day is the day before we go on holiday. There is something about the day before we go on holiday where we just start closing loops in our lives. We start just, whatever it is, we have to go and take the car in. We have to go and pick up all of these things from the store. We have to get this project done. I have to get these emails sent. I have to get these phone calls made. There is something about the day before we go on holiday that makes us just churn through the priorities that we have in a relentless way where we don't hold back. We stop using excuses. We stop telling ourselves we're going to do it tomorrow because we can't. We start actually thinking ahead for a change and saying, what needs to be done so that I don't have to think about this for another week? In other words, what's the thing that's going to need to be done next Friday that I need to do today so I don't have to think about it while I'm on holiday? We just race through all of these things, and we tend to condense what would normally be a week's worth of progress into one single day. Very often we get to the end of that day and we say, God, if every day was like this, I would conquer the world. Now, why isn't every day like that? Because in a normal day, we don't have the accountability of knowing that we're going to be flying tomorrow morning to a destination where we're not going to get things done. That accountability creates urgency in our priorities and actually makes us get things done. Is there a way for us to take this day before a holiday mindset, the holiday eve mindset, and use it to be more productive on a normal week? Because we can't rely on going on holiday 20 weeks of the year in order to get 20 days of really good productivity. I want to set you a challenge. I want you to pretend that you are going on holiday. In fact, let's make it really easy. Do this on a Friday when you know that you're going to have the weekend, and maybe plan something really special and fun and rewarding for the weekend, something you wouldn't normally do. Most of us waste weekends incredibly. We let them float by, and then Monday comes around and we look back and we realize we did nothing special with that weekend. I want you to take this weekend or the following weekend and really plan something rewarding and fun and enjoyable that you're going to look forward to. Then treat the day before like it really is the day before you go on holiday for a week. Think about what your priorities are. Think about all the things you want to get done if you were going away for the next week. What would you want to make happen? And really think about it as if I'm going away for the next week. I'm going on holiday. I'm not going to be able to get anything done for the next week. What do I need to do today? What do I need to make progress on? And treat it seriously. Really play this game in your mind. Sometimes as human beings, we're kind of ridiculous. We need to play games with ourselves in order to get ourselves to really be productive and do things. So this is a nice little game you can play. If you really do get your priorities done or make significant headway with your priorities, the next week will feel like a holiday, even if you're staying at home. But it'll feel like it will be a real life holiday. It's almost like the holidays where we go away for 1 week of the year or 2 weeks of the year to somewhere special. I love those moments, and they create memories we treasure and wonderful experiences, but we know they're transient, and it's almost like it can become an antidote, if we're not careful, to a life that doesn't feel like a holiday, a life that feels too much like it's one big slog. And then we end up looking forward, 50 weeks of the year, we look forward to 2 weeks where we're going away to somewhere special. I think a real life holiday is created when we spend our time getting important things done that make us feel relaxed, that make us feel accomplished, that make us feel like our life has purpose and meaning, and make us feel like we're actually moving towards things that are important. Then I think we sit down wherever we are, whether it's in our homes, at our desks at work, or just with friends on a normal evening. Those are the moments where we have this feeling of relief, like we're really living. So I'm not just saying this in the sense of playing a trick on yourself and pretending you're going away on holiday so that you can get a productive day out of yourself. I'm actually saying that if you can treat it like you're about to go on holiday tomorrow, and therefore today you need to burn through your tasks and your priorities, you'll actually, in one sense, in your mind, create a real holiday for the next week. And it will feel far more rewarding than just traveling to somewhere where the sun is shining, but none of your old problems go away. I feel like this is really important, and I want you to actually go away and play this game with yourself and see what you can accomplish. And write me in the comments if you do this, and I hope that if you've watched to the end of this video, I believe you will, write in the comments how it actually affected your life in that day, and just how much more you got done, and just how much better you felt the next day when you woke up, even if you still woke up in the real world. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next video. By the way, Jameson just reminded me that we should probably let everyone know where we are. We're in Cyprus right now, which is part holiday, part time for us to be productive. And it's probably worth mentioning that even though while we're here, I could just sit and chill and be by the pool and do nothing, the best times I have are when we've actually taken a minute to film a video or do something that's important to us, and then we sit back and relax and enjoy the beautiful weather and the surroundings. Because to me, a holiday isn't a holiday unless you feel like you're really moving towards something. And I feel much better. Jameson, I actually feel more rewarded now. I feel in a better mood watching the sunset now that I know we've done this. It's amazing. So I feel like we should give everyone a view of what we can see around us, because you guys can see behind me here, but you haven't seen this 360-degree view. So Jameson, let's give everyone a shot. All right, guys, thank you so much. I love you all. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Hello. I want to talk today about bodies and body images. I don't know what it's like to be a woman and worry about body image, but I do know what it is to be a human being and be concerned about body image. I thought I would talk today about an experience that I've had going to the gym. And then if you're a guy watching this, hopefully you'll be able to relate to it. If you're a woman, hopefully it won't make any difference. You'll still be able to relate to it. I remember many times going into the gym and seeing somebody who clearly had been working out a lot longer and a lot harder than me, and dare I say it, eating a lot better than me, and looking at them, and you know, the ideal is that you walk into a gym and it's a very motivating environment, right? That should be the place that really makes you want to work out. and having the opposite experience, seeing that person and thinking that's not something that I'm going to have for a very long time, if ever. Ironically, I remember times when working out at home actually was much more energizing and motivating because there was a certain energy with just trying to beat my own best, with trying to improve myself. And if every day I woke up feeling and looking a little bit better, that would motivate me more than seeing someone who seemed to be a year ahead of me. My first tip, if I can translate this into a tip, something that helped me, was instead of comparing myself to somebody else who clearly had been doing it a lot longer than I had and feeling like it was impossible to catch up to them, I'd start looking at myself 6 months from now and saying, where will I be if I don't do this? And where could I be if I do this? And creating almost a fair race, a race with myself. I found that much, much more motivating. Now, if you must compare yourself with someone, because I think we'd be disingenuous if we said we never compared ourselves with people. Many of us are quite good at saying that. I don't compare myself with other people. I only compare myself with me. In real life, I think we do, on some level, compare ourselves with other people. If we must, I think we need to compare ourselves with someone in our category. And by that, I mean our body category. There's no point in me ever comparing myself to the wrestler, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, right? There's no point because this guy is a giant. He's huge. He has a completely different body type than me. Comparing myself to that person is creating an impossible standard for myself. I have a friend who is always talking about how he has really narrow shoulders. And then he compares himself to NFL players who are these big, broad dudes. Instead of, for me, I look at that guy and I'm like, who's the badass in your category? Who's the guy in your category that is just amazing? I'm like, compare yourself to f***ing Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee's amazing. This is a guy who had an incredible physique who's in your body type. Take that guy. If you must compare yourself to somebody, find someone in your category for your body type and aspire to create what they've created instead of comparing yourself to someone who is biologically built differently to you and will always cause you frustration and sadness and resentment by looking at them. There's someone who's killing it where you are. Find that person and make them your hero. Before you go, leave me a comment. I want to challenge you not to be negative in these comments. Anytime things like body image come up, it becomes a can of worms. Challenge yourself right now to be positive about this. Write down the person that has created something amazing from having the same body type as you and you want to aspire to be like them. Who's the badass in your group? I want you to find that person, put them in the comments, and talk about maybe one thing you want to do today to increase your confidence in your own body. I'll see you in the next video.
No. Sexy Potato has been so successful for so long because we kept it just small enough. Now you're asking me to do a number 3. You're twisting my arm, and I realize I gotta say yes. But I'm telling you, this time, it's gotta be the best one we've ever done. American Hustle.
Welcome to another Sexy Potato. This week, American Hustle. I was late to this movie. I watched it about a year late, but I was surprised as I was watching it to find that there was some really interesting moments that as I was going through it, I had to write them down. And then when I got to 3 of them, I went, okay, it's Sexy Potato time. So here's the first one. This is Irving, so Christian Bale's character. He says this about the relationship that begins to form with Amy Adams' character and how it made him feel. And the reason that I wanted to quote this is because it felt like the relationship that we all want. And I think there's something important to grasp onto about this. So I'm going to read it for you. Here's the quote. I felt like we had a secret, just the 2 of us. You know, like that thing when you just want to be with one person the whole time and you feel like the 2 of you understand something that no one else gets. I could just tell her everything about myself, and I'd never had anybody like that in my life before. It felt like I could finally truly be myself without being ashamed, without being embarrassed. I listened to that, and it felt like
the best moments in any relationship in my life were the moments that I felt like I could truly be myself without being embarrassed, without being ashamed. And I think that's the relationship that we should all be searching for. And by the way, looking to create for the other person, because sometimes we're very good at talking about the type of relationship we want, but part of creating an environment where you're not embarrassed and not ashamed is to create that environment for the other person first. It's almost like, have you ever had a relationship where the two of you could just dance at home together? It might have even been that in a relationship before, someone would have made fun of your dancing or someone would have poked fun at you for trying to do that. But in this relationship, you were able to do that and feel carefree. That to me really is the most special thing about a relationship. And I think it's too often forgotten. We too often just get wrapped up in the passion of something without remembering that feeling that the best relationships in the world are the ones where we can bare our soul to somebody and they can do the same. The second thing is Irving, the same character, Christian Bale's character, talks about how we con ourselves. And listen to this. As far as I could see, people were always conning each other to get what they wanted. We even con ourselves. We talk ourselves into things. You know, we sell ourselves things. When we don't even need or want, you know, we're dressing them up. We leave out the risk. We leave out the ugly truth. That really resonated with me. We're so busy trying not to be conned by everyone else that we actually forget how much we con ourselves the entire time. We con ourselves by telling ourselves that we need stuff we don't really need. We con ourselves by telling us, by selling our own excuses to ourselves. You might want to go and talk to that attractive person over there, but you tell yourself that it's bad timing, or that, you know, you're in a rush so you can't do it, or that somehow they're going to say no anyway, and you use your excuse to con yourself into not doing it. You really legitimize those excuses so that they have weight in your mind, enough weight to send you out of that place not talking to that person. It might be something in the fridge that you really want to eat, and you con yourself into eating it, even though you know it's bad for you, because you say, well, you know, it's I'm going to be good tomorrow, or, you know, I was good all day yesterday, so I can be, you know, I can eat this today. We con ourselves into making that situation okay so that we can do it, so that we can justify it. We are conning ourselves all the time, and that's a very dangerous trait that we have as human beings, is we are actually very good debaters with ourselves. We're very good at winning the argument with ourselves that allows us to take the path of least resistance, or the path that we want to go down that isn't necessarily good for us, that doesn't necessarily help our lives. We have to be wary and pay attention to the moments where we're bullshitting ourselves. Here's the last thing that I heard, and this is in a different vein. This is more in the relationship and dating vein, but there was a line that Amy Adams said to Christian Bale in a time in their relationship where he wasn't investing enough and essentially not giving her 100% in the relationship. There's a moment where she says to him, "You're nothing to me until you're everything." That line might be one of the most important lines we can learn when it comes to how much we should invest in other people and how much we should value them when it comes to choosing our life partner. I coach so many women every week. I mean, I go to a seminar and I have 1,000 women in a room. The most common thing I see is people over-investing in people that aren't giving them enough back. Now, it's not just that they over-invest, it's that they overvalue that person. This person isn't prepared to give them 100%, and yet still they're giving that person 110%. You giving me 50% or 60% isn't what's going to make me happy. And if it's not going to make me happy, then it's as good as being nothing to me. Because actually, people say, well, yeah, but 60% is still 60%. No. Actually, in relationships where you really want someone to be a life partner and they're not playing that role, 60% can end up causing you tremendous pain, sadness, and depression. You're nothing to me until you're everything. Beautiful line. So that's American Hustle. Some really interesting lessons in that movie. Go watch it again with those lessons in mind. Obviously, there's a lot of lessons about what not to do in that movie as well, it's fair to say. But those were some of the really positive ones that I wanted to share with you. I hope you're enjoying the sexy potato
something special for you today. Shape magazine recently came to me and said, "Hey Matthew Hussey, why don't you have a conversation with your world-renowned boxing trainer, Mr. Martin Snow, and talk about some stuff that would help our readers?" It was a great conversation. I then said to Shape, "Hey Shape magazine, this stuff would be useful for my community too." And they were kind enough to allow me to share this exclusive conversation with you too. So without further ado, here is myself and Mr. Martin Snow. Enjoy. Hello everyone at Shape Magazine. I am Matthew Hussey, creator of howtogettheguy.com, the world's leading dating advice for women. And I am here with Mr. Martin Snow, legendary boxing trainer, who also happens to be my boxing coach here at Trinity Gyms. I'm excited to be with you.
I'm excited to be with you.
We thought we'd do something together where we would bring your knowledge of fighting,
Yes.
my knowledge of attraction and dating and love, and bring it together to talk about how to bulletproof yourself, your body and your mind, so that you're not crippled by fear or the fear of rejection.
Done.
So here's my first point. Tell me what you think of this.
Okay.
All right, you taught me, when you were training me in boxing, you taught me, number one, don't overthink your punches.
Right.
You saw me trying to second guess exactly what punch to throw and throwing the perfect hook, throwing
Yes.
the perfect jab, instead of, practice form, but don't get so obsessed with it that you never throw. It's your punch.
Right.
It's you, so you can't do it wrong because it's yours.
Yeah. And it's got your name on it, your signature, your fingerprint. Fighters have fingerprints. So they teach you this is how you sign your name. Okay, but if everybody's signing their name the same, forgers will be out of business. Everybody's got their own thumbprint. Everybody's got their own signature. It's specific to you. So go out there, be yourself. The one thing in life you can't screw up, and everybody does, is just be yourself.
And I think it's that fear and that impossible standard that people have in their minds that stops them from even throwing a punch.
Got to be perfect.
Yeah.
You know.
The second thing I wrote down was celebrate the punches you take. Because I think people are so afraid to get hit that they forget that there's actually a value in the experiences you have, even when they're negative ones.
Yeah, you need to get hit. Just like you need to get disappointed, you need to get your heart broken, you need to, that's what makes us resilient. Yeah. You can't go through life, people want to go through life bubble wrapped. Yeah. You gotta bulletproof.
And that's why people choose safe partners. That's why they choose someone that they can walk all over, but someone that can never hurt them, because they're afraid of being hit. You once said to me, dating is sparring, right? You go in, get your heart broken, you're not made of glass.
And you condition yourself to take a punch. It's not like you just walk in there, okay, I'm gonna, you have to mentally and physically prepare for that.
Sum up for me the kill your ego concept that you've said to me before, which I've found so powerful, because when you said to me, all of that fear is your ego. What does it mean in the boxing ring to kill your ego?
It means you have to, whatever identity you have, whoever you were or whoever you thought you were, has to die. Because if that person walks into the ring, they will not walk out of the ring. So when I step into the ring, I don't know who I am. I literally don't know who I am. All I see is a guy over there who wants to take my head off. And all I can focus on is attack. That's all. I have no ego.
But that to me is great, because then you're not focused on, this is going to be embarrassing if I lose. And instead putting the focus on, what is it I want to do? What's the impact I want to make? And it's the same in a relationship, right?
Yes.
Oh, my partner did something today that made me jealous, or whatever. Now I'm going to, I want to make them jealous. That's ego. Oh, now when I get competitive in my relationship, that's ego.
I always ask people when they're boxing, I say, when somebody's talking to you, do you listen to what they're saying, or you thinking about what your reply is going to be? And you will be surprised how many people, when they're thinking about what's my reply, and they're not even listening to. So in relationships,
so they're not reacting to what's actually going on. They're not reacting to the punch that was thrown. They're just going in there. This is what I'm going to say with my punches, but they're not actually reacting to what's happening.
They're not interacting.
So don't overthink your punches. Learn to love the punches you do take, and kill your ego. I've been Matthew Hussey. This is Martin Snow. Come to Trinity Boxing Gym, either in LA or New York, to see Martin. And if you want some help for your love life from me, I have a free guide for you at 3secretstolove.com. That's literally where I give you 3 things you can do today to transform your love life, no matter where it is or what state it's in. I will see you there. Martin, thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you,
being
Matthew.
here.
Always great. Always
pleasure.
great. Thanks, kid.
Why won't men commit? Them scallywags, scoundrels, rapscallions, sons of bitches.
Is this a serious intro, or do you what do you want to do?
No, I want to keep this. We put a post on Instagram asking men, why don't you want to commit? Here were some of the comments that men made. Travel and Treasures said, I'm scared of losing my freedom, which is a very apt comment from Travel and Treasures. Adrian says, loss of independence and loss of self-identity over time. Harish says, I always feared that the other person will completely take away my me time. What did I say but when you were gonna move in, babe? I was like, what I was like afraid of something. I was like, well, but what am I going to do when I just want to listen to my podcasts?
Yeah,
is that what I said?
You won't get time to listen to your podcast.
What about listen? But what about my podcasts? And you said, you can still do that. It's fine. Sit in your little sad corner and listen to your podcasts. Dennis says the fear of losing out to a better relationship yet to come by committing fully to this person. If she will stay with me in bad times, for example, less income from the business. Lots of different reasons. It's funny. We had written a kind of format for this video here. 3 reasons why men are afraid of commitment. And of course, there's more than 3, but we were like, if there were 3 really big ones, what would they be? And the comments we got from men in response to that post on Instagram exactly correlated with what we had for this video. Here goes, 3 reasons why men are afraid of commitment, and in each case, what can you do to circumvent that fear? Before we go any further with the video, and trust me, there's going to be some amazing male psychology in this video, I wanted to make sure that if you want to skip straight to the practical thing that you can do to get more commitment from someone, you open up a new tab in your browser right now and type in getthefreetraining.com. I have a video there waiting for you that's completely free to watch, but it gives you something very specific you can do to get more commitment. Now, back to the video. Number 1. The fear that I will make the wrong choice. Now, this is a fear born out of the feeling that the stakes are so high, and of course, they are high. The choosing of a right partner is one of the most important decisions that we will ever make, and we are indoctrinated with that. People are indoctrinated with the idea that this is incredibly special, marriage is so special, it's so important, it's so big, and even if you have been told over and over again that marriage is scary, then the idea of marriage being scary and a giant commitment and something that can go horribly wrong raises the stakes yet higher, because you're terrified that this already really difficult and scary thing is going to be made hellish if I make the wrong choice. So when we think about who's going to be our confidant, best friend, our lover, our roommate for the rest of our life, that feels like a very big decision. And that can create a kind of decision paralysis, this idea that I can't make a decision in case I get it wrong. Or what if another person that's better comes along? There's that optimization that can find its way into our love lives in a really unproductive way, always thinking that might be someone better, someone more attractive, someone with even more of the qualities I want, even if the person that I'm with has some great qualities that I want. And that keeps us in this perpetual state of self-doubt, of not trusting our own decision-making. So what can you do about that? I think one of the really interesting pieces of psychology around relationships is that, to me, the myth is the idea that love at first sight. Love at first sight is this great myth that we're supposed to meet someone, know that they're the one, and then we invest in them because they're the one. And I think that often it works the other way round. You meet someone, yes, they have a lot of the qualities that you really want in a person. Yes, there is some initial chemistry, but then they become the one by what you invest in them and by what they invest in you. You create something special because you build it together. The problem is, if you're so fixated on worrying about whether someone is the right person, you never actually invest enough to get past the tipping point of feeling like you've got something incredibly special on your hands. And questions early on in dating that are to the effect of, what are we? Where is this going long term? Are we in a relationship? Can sometimes immediately raise the stakes of a situation in a way that stops someone from investing to begin with. So how do you get around that? I think of it like bringing someone in through the shallow end of the pool where they can paddle and get their feet wet and just get acclimatized to the temperature of the water. They can feel the benefits of a relationship. They can experience the feeling of being close to someone. I'm not suggesting, by the way, that you do this in the context of not being exclusive. But what I am saying is, when you're with someone, you can say to them, especially if they're showing resistance to a relationship, you can say, look, I don't know where we're going to be in 6 months. I don't know if you're going to be right for me ultimately, and you don't know if I'm going to be right for you. I could leave you, who knows? But what I know is that I like you enough, and I think that this is interesting enough that I want to actually give it a shot and see where it could go. But if you're not on the same page as that, if you're not willing to do that with me, then there's no point in me continuing to give my time and energy and attention to this. And what that says to someone is, hey, we're not signing a contract for the rest of our lives right now. Either of us have a way out if we want. It's okay if later on you can even say that to someone. It's okay if later on you decide that it's not right for you. But it would be such a shame if either of us decided that, having not actually given it a real shot. That allows someone to commit to the situation right now, to the relationship right now, without thinking that that means they have to make their mind up for their whole future. Of course, later down the line, you're going to want to see progression. But right now, what it does is it gives someone the opportunity to actually experience how amazing this relationship is in a way that can actually have them tipping over into, well, this is it. This is the thing that I want. But I only got to that realization by actually giving my all to it. And the only reason I gave my all to it is because the person I'm with lowered the stakes of the initial decision. The second male fear around commitment is that I will lose myself. Now, this comes in many forms. Losing ourselves can feel like just losing all of our time. It can feel like losing the activities that we really enjoy doing, the hobbies that we love doing, the friends that we love seeing, all of the, even just the me time, as it was put in the Instagram comments to that post. The time that I spend, as I put it, listening to my podcasts. But what about my podcasts? It's the moments that we have with ourselves that we're afraid, but I really like. See this couch here, what you don't know is this room, I call it the Japan room. It's like a little room that I've got kind of just in my Japanophile heart. I've created it in the image of some of the Japanese influences that I really like. And in the mornings, I like to wake up and I like to just sit on this sofa, not with my shoes on, Jameson, but I just sit on this sofa and I got my laptop and my little coffee and my journals, and I just work away and just have my little routine, Jameson. You know, it's my little eccentricity, my little things that I do. And if I try and wake up really early so that Audrey can't interrupt that time. And so sometimes that means me waking up at 5 a.m. so that I have a good 2 to 3 hours where I can just be here on this sofa and do that. If she wakes up early, if she's like, I can't sleep, and she comes out, I think, what have I done? You know, because that's my little time. I don't want to lose that. You know, so we all have those things, and we're afraid that someone's going to come in and they're going to take those things from us. They're going to take who we are from us. I know some of the men in the comments wrote about the masculinity that they felt they would lose if they lost control over making certain decisions in their life, if they felt like somebody else was suddenly calling all of the shots, if they felt like they had to go and ask permission for everything from that point forward. Or I know a lot of men are afraid that they're going to get into a relationship where the other person is the one who is very much in control, and the man suddenly starts pandering or trying to supplicate to this person because they've made her so important and put her on such a pedestal that they then lose themselves in that situation. So it's just easier not to get into the situation in the first place. We're all afraid on some level, men and women, by the way, but we're all afraid that there's some essential part of ourselves that we will lose in the process. Now, what can you do about this? One of the most generous and beautiful and calming things you can do for somebody is to first listen to what's important to them. What things do they really enjoy? What little routines do they have that are important to them? You know, Audrey could have come in and she could have just laughed at that little routine I have in the morning that I do. She does laugh at it, as a matter of fact, but she also respects it. And she's like, I know that's your little time for yourself. I know you don't want me anywhere near you when you're having that time. And she laughs at me, but she also gets it. She's like, I get it. You need it. And if I feel she's respecting that for me, then I don't worry that I have to guard it. I know, we're guarding it together because my happiness is her happiness. It could be time with his friends. It could be that you know that he needs time with his friends. And so you actually encourage that time with his friends. You actually encourage, go do that. You haven't seen them all week. Go hang out with them. You should go and see this person or go have fun. Giving him space. You go do your stuff so that he can go do his stuff. Having your independence is something that allows someone to have their independence. A huge part of this is listening, and a huge part of it is anticipating someone's needs, anticipating someone's desires, what they want, what allows them to feel like them. And when someone feels you're doing that, they feel safe knowing that they can give the best of themselves to the relationship, but they also get to hold on to the parts of themselves and their lives that they really loved when they were on their own. The third big male fear around commitment. You are gonna f me, but not in the way I like. Audrey, do you think we can get away with that one?
Yeah, it's good.
It's pretty good. There we go. One woman in the room said it's okay, Jameson. This basically boils down to the idea that we can't trust the person in front of us. And there are many male fears that relate to not being able to trust somebody. There's fears around money. That what I've created or what I've built in my life, is that going to be safe, or is that suddenly going to be taken from me if things go wrong? There's fears around having a family that they didn't want or weren't ready for. There's fears around, is this person going to change in the course of the relationship, especially once I've made a major commitment? Are they all of a sudden going to show me who they actually are? Ta-da! Here's who you were with all along. It was all a dance. It was all a jig. Is it going to be that? Or am I in front of someone who actually is a teammate, who is what they present to me, and who, if, God forbid, shit hits the fan, is going to be a person of class and character when that happens? I could write a whole program on how to show this kind of character. I have, in fact, written a whole program on this kind of stuff called Attraction to Commitment. I'm not here to talk about that today, but this is really deep stuff, because in the beginning of dating, our character is one of the things that makes people feel truly safe around us, like they can trust us. And what are the things that show character? What are the things that show integrity? It could be as simple as how they see us treat our friends, or how they see us talk about our friends. Do we gossip about our friends, or do we reveal our friends' secrets? My friend said never to tell anyone this, but do we do that? Do we talk horribly of our exes and reveal their secrets and things they never would have wanted reaching the light of day? Are we someone who contributes? I'm a big believer, Jameson, in paying for dinner on the third date. If you haven't paid for the first two, pay for the third one. That was kind of the whole essence of the Who Should Pay video back in the day. The whole idea of that was when someone can see that you're a teammate, they trust you. They trust you. Or it could be an offhand comment about the fact that you think it's mad that certain people you know, go into a relationship expecting the person that they're with to fund their lifestyle. And they don't think that's appropriate. They don't think that's respectful to the person they're with. It could be a comment about marriage and how you would never want to be in a marriage where the passion wanes or the sex stops because that's super important to you. All of these things tell someone, hey, who I am today is who I'm going to continue being. Hey, the things that are important to you long term are important to me long term. Hey, if things go wrong, I'm going to be a really big and wonderful person in that moment, even if there's hurt feelings. In other words, you can trust me. I'm a person of character. And when we feel like we're with a person of character, the stakes don't feel quite so high on actually moving forward with someone and trusting them. I think this is such a big subject. I'm really curious to know what you think about it all. The things that I'm saying are not always easy to say. It's kind of a minefield talking about this stuff, but I believe in being truthful. I believe in being honest. I think we have to be honest about women. We have to be honest about men. We have to be honest about people on this channel. Otherwise, why on earth would you watch? Now, I want to give you something else that can help you, because you might be in a position right now where someone already is dragging their feet. Somebody is showing signs that they're afraid. They're putting the brakes on something that has an enormous amount of potential. And you may be wondering to yourself, what can I do in a situation like that? How can I actually communicate with this person in a way that can continue the positive momentum we have, instead of having them prematurely end a really good thing? I have a free video training for you. It is at getthefreetraining.com, and it is an incredible video that I've put together on what you can say to someone who is umming and ahhing, not sure what they want, showing that they're afraid of commitment, showing that they're not ready. It literally talks you through what you can say to that person to help them move past their fears and continue to a deeper relationship. Check it out at getthefreetraining.com. This is free. It's actually taken from my program Attraction to Commitment, and it is a really powerful training segment. Did I mention it's free, Jameson?
Yes.
Oh, it turns out I did. Okay, go check it out. It's at getthefreetraining.com. I will see you over there right now. Now. Open up a new browser. New tab. Now. All right, everybody. Let's talk about compliments, shall we? Harry?
Yes?
You haven't complimented me once today.
Your hair looks very brown today.
Even Jameson's more complimentary than that, and he says nothing but insults for the first 30 minutes of a video. What are the compliments that create attraction with someone? And not just that create attraction, but make us stand out in the process. How do we break through the noise? Well, I'm going to give you 3 principles for compliments today. We did a compliment video a while back. I can't remember how far back. Jameson, maybe you can run a little, adorable image of a younger me giving advice on compliments. When we show that there's something we like in someone else, they're more likely to like us. Let's see if I've evolved since the last time we did this. Number 1, compliment the thing that people don't hear every day. I think, when you see someone's dating app, the temptation is to go for the low-hanging fruit. Look for that one picture of them that's photoshopped and airbrushed where they're looking stunning in that really cool outfit and their eyes are glistening like 2 beautiful orbs in the light. And then we say, "You're gorgeous. Wow, you have amazing eyes." That doesn't separate us. It might make someone feel good, but it's white noise if that's what they hear all the time. Look around the picture. Look what's going on in the edges. Look what's happening in the periphery. What book is on the table that they're reading that you could compliment their choice of books? What are they doing in the picture? What skill set have they developed? Looking at these things will allow you to compliment things that they don't often get complimented on. And thus, you'll stand out more. The second principle of compliments, this one I suppose is great for when you meet people in person and you don't have a couple of minutes to think about what you want to say about someone's profile. Look for the indirect compliment. It can feel a little much to walk up to someone and say, "You're beautiful." Right? It's a lot. Some people would like that. Some of you in the comments will say, I would love if someone came up to me and said that, in which case I very much hope someone says that to you this week. But a lot of people feel like, oh, it's a lot of pressure when someone says that to me, or it's a lot of pressure to say that to someone, especially if it doesn't go well. This is where the indirect compliment comes in. Compliment someone on a choice they've made, their shirt, their jacket, their shoes. You have great taste in shoes. I love those. That's a really cool bag. What you just ordered sounds delicious. What a great order you just placed. When we don't compliment something that's genetic, something they were born with, and instead we compliment something slightly more external, it's a little easier. And by the way, it could even be a bit more meaningful because they made that choice. That's their taste. They decided on that. And lastly, when you get to know someone a little better, focus on complimenting their traits, not just the outcomes they've reached in life. An outcome would be, if someone created a great business and you said, what an amazing thing it is that you've created this amazing business or that you've achieved all of this. That's like complimenting the medal that someone won. I think it's far more profound to compliment the traits that won them life's medal. They built this business and you say, wow, it must have taken so much perseverance and ambition and drive to get to this point. That's an amazing thing. Instead of complimenting someone on being great at a language or an instrument, you compliment the passion and the patience that it must have taken to get to that point of skill. When we compliment someone's outcomes, they feel admired. When we compliment the traits that got them those outcomes, they feel seen. And feeling seen is the key to deep connection and attraction. If you want more compliments, you can go to the free guide, saythistohim.com. We'll link it up here, where I give you 5 more compliments you can use to create attraction. And other than that, Harry.
Yes?
We'll see everyone next week. I'll see Harry in exactly 5 seconds when the video is over. My confidence has to be derived from something deeper. I'm here on this earth once, and this is what I have.
Right.
So let me go and make the most of that. And if you're kinder to yourself, you start to like yourself more. And when you start to like yourself more, you're onto something. I want to talk about where real confidence comes from and why it's so important in creating a happy life. Most people in life don't start very confident, and then they work through their early years trying to acquire things and make something of themselves and achieve things so that they can feel confident. They go for a job that makes them feel accomplished. They try and get a partner who looks a certain way or makes them feel a certain way, someone that they can, go out with and say, look who I'm with, look what I have in the way of a relationship. And of course, someone just to feed their confidence. They try to buy stuff in order to feel confident so that they can say, look at my house, look at my car. They acquire contacts, friendships, make themselves part of certain clubs in life, live in a certain destination. So these things are there to feed confidence. The problem is all of this stuff makes people inherently vulnerable. What I think is really interesting about life is how many people that we think are really confident just have all of these things working for them right now. But if one of these things went down, especially one of the important ones, all of a sudden their whole ego would crumble because it's based on these external factors. What we want is to graduate our confidence to hopefully mature enough to a point where we realize my confidence has to be derived from something deeper. This isn't, part 1 and this is part 2. We actually have to flip that. So this is part 1, and this then becomes part 2. And that is what everyone has wrong. They believe that their life mission is to acquire enough stuff, enough importance through their relationships, enough importance through their calling or their job, that they can feel confident about themselves. This is completely upside down. This is where we start. And the reason that's so important, it's important on two levels. One, it makes us safe. Our whole identity, our whole confidence and self-worth isn't vulnerable to these things changing all the time because we start from that place. So what that allows us to do is be happier in these things because we can enjoy them for what they are instead of constantly being afraid that they're going to go away and therefore living from a place of anxiety. So emotional stability and happiness is one big result we get from building that relationship within ourselves first. The second big benefit is a very practical one, which is these things, it's not that they're not important. It's not that having a great relationship isn't important or having a great work life, and creating purpose in your life isn't important. It's not that having things can't be fun for its own sake or any of these things. Friendships, belonging to certain communities, all of these things can be important. But I believe we need to start with core confidence, start with a really strong relationship with ourselves where we feel enough so that we can truly go and make an impact in these areas. Because as long as our confidence is living off of these areas, we actually go to these areas with an anxious energy that stops us from taking risk, stops us from, let's say in a relationship, setting standards with the person we love, stops us from having difficult conversations with people that would actually improve those relationships, but in the short term risk creating friction. We would, if you take the example of me making a video, if I'm worried about what everyone thinks, then I make a video that panders to what people want me to say instead of making a video that's for impact. And the difference in the result is huge. One is playing it safe and is very much reliant on whether I'm liked by the end of it. And the other one is just based on, is this going to make an impact? If I already love myself, if I have a great internal confidence right now that says I'm enough on my own, I have intrinsic value, I know who I am, I know why I love myself, I know what my relationship with myself is, then I come to a video to provide value. Then I say, this isn't about me, I'm not coming to get something out of this, I'm coming to bring my self-love to this, I'm coming to bring my stability to this and to make a case for whatever it is I want to say. I'm here to make an impact. So when we have core confidence, we can go to all these areas to make a true impact instead of going to them to try to get something. You can go to your relationship to make an impact in your relationship, i.e. act out of love instead of acting out of fear. If you want to be truly happy in your life by enjoying the things that you're creating in your life, enjoying the things you have, instead of living with the anxious vulnerability of, if they go away, I'm nobody, I'm nothing, I have no value. And if you want to make a genuine impact in your life, in the world, in your relationships, in your career, then we have to start with core confidence and then bring that core confidence to all of these areas of our lives. If you want to see, by the way, I wanted to show you something this week as a kind of direct representation of what it looks like when someone goes from a place of fear to a place of confidently making an impact. I have a video for you, a training that is taken from my at-home retreat program. Many of you know twice a year I do a live retreat, but a couple of years ago I turned that into an at-home version for people at home. I've taken a piece of that training where I bring a woman onto the stage and take her from part one here to making this part one so that she could go and make a genuine impact. Check it out. It's at this link. Click the link now and you can be watching that free training right now. I think this is important to everybody because this isn't a video for, the downtrodden who have no confidence whatsoever. This is a video to anyone whose confidence right now is inherently based on something that is leaving them highly vulnerable to life changes and is minimizing their impact in life, because that's where they're living emotionally.
I like the idea that we write down on a piece of paper our New Year's resolutions. You know, I'm going to be confident this year. And then all of a sudden, there's that little voice in our head that says, you do realize we still hate ourselves, don't you? And you go, but why are you still here? It's 2021. Why are you still here? Because it's still there. That's what life does. It's just our problems continue, and it's up to us to deal with them. Since life is all just a continuum, at any point we can decide to disrupt the patterns that we live by on that continuum. And now, the beginning of a new year is as good a time as any to do that, because we want to start living the life we want today. We want to be happier, or more confident, or more at peace, or more at ease with ourselves, or more clear about our direction and intentional today, not next year, because we want the benefits today. That's the reason to do it right now. Is not because it's the beginning of January, but because we want the benefits of change now. I have a clip that was taken from a video that Stephen, my brother Stephen Hussey, and I did together that was all about how to be the most confident version of yourself. And I think that it's a wonderful time for us to release this clip. I know you're going to love this. Check it out, and I'll see you back here at the end of the video.
Hey Matt, I have a question for the podcast. I would be really interested in the insecurities that you have to struggle with, because you are one of the most confident people here on social media and a great role model. And that's why I'm always wondering if there was anything you have to struggle with.
I don't know if I'm one of the most confident people on social media.
It's quite big. It's a big claim. Luckily, she said it. So
you would never catch me saying that about myself.
People do describe you as, you know, to me as like Matt's so confident in himself, and you know, they feel like you got it made.
Right. What insecurities? Well, I think I have all the same insecurities as other people. I think it's always the extent to which your insecurities dominate you.
Yeah, because what is that then? If you've got all the insecurities other people have, is it just perception that you're perceived as more confident? Because I think there is a level of confidence in you that many other people don't possess. Mm. But as your brother, I know there are things, you know, like all of us, there are things you think, oh, I'd like that to be a bit different about myself. Oh, I don't feel great in my body today, or this. So what do you think that is? Do you think you just are good at overcoming those, or you know, not letting those define you, how you're going to come across?
I think it's a combination of things. It's firstly, you do what you can where you can, right? So you work on your body to the extent that you can. Your looks, you work on them to the extent that you can. There are certain things that you do what you can with what you have. Mm. It's not, being confident isn't about accepting the worst version of yourself. You figure out what power you have over certain things. We can all groom, shape ourselves, look after ourselves in order to look better and feel better. If we're talking about physical, for example, which is a major area of insecurity for a lot of people. And then past that point, I think confidence can be a combination of self-acceptance and fatalism. Self-acceptance in that you grow to love, you know, you sort of love, you know, we talk about this on the retreat. You love yourself because you're all you have, and because you're someone that you're responsible for. Right? People don't love their kids because they're the best. They love their kids because they're responsible for their kids and because they want the best for them. So that's the self-acceptance part. The fatalistic part is the part where you go, fuck it. No matter how much I worry about this thing, it isn't going to get better. Like it's not me worrying that I don't look as hot as that person isn't going to make me hotter. Mm. So this is what I'm here on this earth once, and this is what I have.
Right.
So let me go and make the most of that, and stop worrying that I'm not as whatever as this person, because I'm not. I'm just not.
Like there's certain things I'm never going to be. And I think that when you get comfortable with that and when you get fatalistic about it, then you just go, well, then I'll do the best I can with that.
Right.
And that guy is not better than me because he was born better looking or taller or whatever. Like it doesn't, that's the lottery he won.
Yeah.
Right? We won certain lottery tickets too. Like, but it doesn't make someone better than me that they had different resources, or that they were gifted different things at the outset. That doesn't make anyone better than me.
Yeah.
It just means that's what they got. So this is what I've got. What my whole game in life is, what can I do with that? Like, what can I do with that? This is what I got.
Yeah.
What can I do with it? Like, that to me is what makes your life a work of art.
It's like, how can I play the game with these cards? Like, what kind of game could I play with these cards?
Yes. Like, what art could I make out of I've been given it's like, you know, like in, what are the shows like MasterChef or whatever, where they just get given like a handful of random ingredients?
Right, yeah.
Like a bit of carrot, here's some cinnamon, here's some creme fraiche, here's a bit of salmon, and they're just like, go for it. They don't sit there for the next hour that they have crying over the ingredients.
They don't go, I bloody wish I had some creme fraiche right now.
No, they go, I've got an hour. I've got 1 hour to make the most of these ingredients. And how good of a chef I am has zero to do with these ingredients. It has everything to do with how I use I'm not going to be graded on how good of a draw I did in the beginning on my ingredients. That's not what MasterChef is about. Is it even MasterChef, the show that I'm talking about? It's one of them. It's one of the shows where they get given the ingredients.
It's one of the 1,000 cooking shows.
I'm not going to get graded on, like, I drew the ingredients. They don't all draw ingredients and then the show ends there and they go, well, Jonathan won because he drew a bit of steak and some garlic butter and some asparagus, and
Jonathan got the ribeye. No one's going to top that.
Yeah, call it. Jonathan's drawn the ribeye. Like, they don't. That's not the show. That wouldn't be a show.
Right.
Right. It's not roulette. The show is they all get given ingredients. Let's now see how great of a chef they are. That's life.
Wow.
We all got ingredients. We're not going to be great. Like, anyone worth talking to isn't going to grade you on your ingredients. They're going to grade you on what did you do with those ingredients. That's now you're a chef. Be a chef. Don't be someone who's trying to draw a good hand. And even for me, even if no one ever realizes what you did with those ingredients, you do. And that's worth noting too. Go back and look at what you did with if you want confidence, look at what you already did with a bunch of your ingredients. Like, what did you already do? Where have you already been a chef in your life that you're not giving yourself enough credit for? Because if you look at that, you'll see
and we forget those really quickly, right? We forget really quickly the amazing recipes we have put together.
Yep.
Because we just move on from that and go, yeah, but I haven't achieved this. Or
because you're always looking at the meal that you haven't cooked. But look at the ones you already cooked. That's amazing. If I want to get ridiculously confident right now, all I need to do is look at the meals I already cooked. And then I'm going to go, my God. And I cooked those meals with who I was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I was a much worse chef then than I am today. And look what I already cooked. So imagine what meal I can cook today with what I have.
Whatever ingredients you find yourself starting with this year, don't judge the ingredients. The ingredients aren't your art. The way you use them is. And by the way, if you want to use your ingredients to full effect to see what's possible for you, and I really believe that our minds today cannot even conceive of what's possible, what our ingredients could become a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. When I look back on my life, no matter how big I dreamed, I know there were things that I've been able to do and create and make happen that were beyond anything I could have conceived of then.
This video is for you if you feel like no matter what you've done to improve your confidence, be it in your external appearance or what you've achieved in your life, how many new relationships you've gotten with friends or family or partners, your internal deep level confidence has never really improved in the way that you wanted it to. The same insecurities that have always haunted you are still there. I'm going to take you right now to a live clip from a seminar I did recently in Melbourne, Australia, where there was a woman in the room who had exactly this issue. In my answer, I give her a model for confidence that is going to help you too. And watch to the end of this clip, because afterwards I'm going to join you back here on this sofa with a free gift that is going to show you how to take that model and begin implementing it today.
I remember that you said something on your video. You said, if you're living extraordinary life, having someone great just a byproduct. So for me, in my life, I always focus how to be the best version of myself. And I find like there's something always stop me from getting the best version of myself is not confident enough.
Yes.
So how to be really just confident, not just fake it, but really, really from the bottom of our hearts, just be confident of self.
I think that's a great question. The whole, how do I learn how to be confident at the deepest level? I always teach, there's 3 levels of confidence. There's the surface level. The surface level is how other people perceive you. It's all the things you do on the surface. The lifestyle level is what you do in your life that gives you confidence. Skills, hobbies, work, family, friends, it's all the things you derive confidence from. The deepest layer is the core. And the core is the layer that if you get that figured out, makes you the next best thing to invincible emotionally. Now, it doesn't stop you going through pain, but what it does do is it means you can lose things and at the bedrock of your confidence, you'll still be okay. Getting to that place that you're talking about is an emotional process, not a logical one. Okay? And this isn't me selling you, this is just me giving it to you how it is. The reason I do that on my retreat is because it's an emotional process and it takes me 5 days to get people there. It's not something that in 2 hours in a room like this, I can do for people. Because I studied this for years because I was fascinated by the answer to that question. What makes someone truly confident on almost an unconditional level? So that your confidence wasn't tied to whether this person said yes or no to you. Right? It came from within, true internal validation. I studied that for years. And what I learned about that, I put on that program. But I take people on an emotional journey to get there because there's some things that logic doesn't solve. If logic solved everything, then, telling someone on the front of a cigarette packet that you're gonna die would stop people smoking. But it doesn't. Logic isn't enough. You have to control people's emotion. But emotion is a more subtle process to transform yourself emotionally. So logically, you might know you're enough. And everyone might tell you you're enough. But for whatever reason, no matter what happens in your life, no matter how much you achieve, no matter how many facials you get to make your skin look great, no matter how much you go to the gym to lose weight, no matter what you do, it still doesn't solve that problem of your own self-worth. That's what I do for people on the retreat. And it just takes longer. But thank you.
Can I just ask one? So before I might see you on Florida on October this
Wait, you're coming?
I think so.
Oh, fucking great. All right. Why did you put me through all of that?
But let's start from tonight. That's something I can do from tonight every single day? Maybe just
between now and the retreat, the one tip I can give you between now and the retreat in October is start being more kind to yourself. In all the little ways that you can be, start being more kind to yourself. Like Neelam, is it Neelam? Neelam, it's hard enough to miss this guy or to feel like it sucks that you've been back there over and over again without beating yourself up for feeling that. And that's what we do. We do twice. We beat ourselves twice. Once with the feeling and once for feeling the feeling. Right? Because you're going, why do I miss him still? Why am I feeling this? Being kinder to yourself is allowing yourself to feel that and experience that and not demonize yourself for it. Recognize that, hey, it's actually a gift that you're the type of loving person that can feel on that level. And so many people, I know because I meet them all the time, have numbed themselves to feeling what you're feeling right now. right? They've made themselves numb so they can't even feel pain like that. Give yourself props for being courageous enough to actually feel pain and care about someone that much and feel that connected to someone and not shut yourself off to love, and recognize that now it's about steering that energy in a more productive direction. But don't beat yourself up for feeling those feelings, because if you didn't miss him, if you didn't feel connected to him, if you didn't feel all of that, you also wouldn't be capable of loving the next person that's going to come along who's going to be better. Right? So it's about being kind. Be kind to yourself along the way, especially when things are going wrong. And if you're kinder to yourself, you start to like yourself more. And when you start to like yourself more, you're onto something. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. I really want you to watch this next video. I think it's going to make a big difference in your life. Click the link here. And then we're looking every day for reassurance. Did you mean what you said yesterday? Are you really going to stay with me? Are you really never going to cheat on me? We can never get enough reassurance, and reassurance always needs to be topped up.